Motorcycles are engineered for reliability, but even the toughest engines fail when maintenance goes wrong. Every day, riders make critical mistakes that turn dependable bikes into expensive repair projects. These are not minor errors. They are the exact misconceptions that cause catastrophic failures costing thousands in repairs. Riders' biggest mistake is trusting manufacturer oil change intervals blindly. Modern manuals suggest 6,000 to 8,000 miles to make ownership appear cheaper, but this destroys engines. Motorcycle engines work exponentially harder than car engines because they share oil between the engine, the transmission, and the wet clutch. High engine speeds and extreme heat break down oil rapidly. The 3,000-mile rule is not outdated, it is essential. Riders who follow manufacturer intervals experience premature bearing wear and valve train damage by 60,000 miles. Those who change oil every 3,000 miles report engines exceeding 150,000 miles without rebuilds. Use JASOMA2 synthetic oil. Spending $100 on extra oil changes prevents a $4,000 engine rebuild. Riders assume quiet engines indicate proper valve clearances, but silence often signals dangerously tight valves approaching failure. Valve clearances naturally tighten as valve seats wear into cylinder heads over time. Excessively tight valves run silently because there is no clearance to make noise, yet they cannot seat properly when the engine is hot. Combustion gases then leak past partially open valves, burning valve edges and causing compression loss. Most riders only check valves when they hear excessive noise, and they miss tight valve problems entirely. Motorcycle engines require valve inspections every 15,000 to 20,000 miles, regardless of noise. Mechanics report that neglected valve trains end up needing a complete head rebuild that costs $3,000 by 70,000 miles. Properly maintained engines commonly exceed 200,000 miles. Riders make the fatal error of dismissing cam chain tensioner noises as normal mechanical sounds until catastrophic failure occurs. They hear faint metallic rattling at idle and convince themselves it is just valve noise. Cam chain tensioners are wear items, not lifetime components. Automatic spring-loaded tensioners weaken over time, allowing excessive chain slack. That innocent rattle indicates the tensioner cannot maintain proper tension. Ignoring this leads to jumped timing when the loose chain skips teeth on the cam sprocket. Jumped timing causes valves to contact pistons at high speed, bending valves and destroying pistons. Complete engine rebuilds cost over $5,000. The correct approach involves inspecting tensioners at 30,000 miles and replacing them at 40,000 miles before failure. A devastating mistake is assuming all coolant is interchangeable between cars and motorcycles. Automotive coolant formulations contain silicates and phosphates designed for cast iron engine blocks, not aluminum. These additives react with aluminum, causing corrosion, clogging narrow radiator passages, and destroying water pump impellers. Motorcycles operate at higher temperatures with tighter tolerances than automotive applications. Another critical error is never replacing coolant because it does not visibly leak. Coolant degrades chemically over time, losing corrosion inhibitors even while sitting unused. Old coolant turns acidic, corroding aluminum components from the inside. The correct practice requires motorcycle-specific pre-mixed coolant formulated for aluminum engines. Flush and replace coolant every 2 years regardless of mileage. Check levels weekly when cold, and inspect hoses for cracks. One of the most destructive habits is lugging engines at low revolutions per minute, believing it saves fuel and reduces wear. The opposite is true. Lugging means running high gears at low engine speed under load, forcing the engine to labor painfully. This creates abnormally high cylinder pressures, excessive vibration, and bearing stress engines are not designed to handle. Riders with automotive backgrounds often apply inappropriate techniques to high-performance motorcycle engines. Running below 3,000 revolutions per minute during acceleration destroys crankshaft bearings, accelerates piston ring wear, and causes premature connecting rod bearing failure. Motorcycle engines are engineered to operate in their power band where they run smoothly. The correct technique is to downshift to keep engine speed above 3,000 revolutions per minute during acceleration. Riders who respect revolutions per minute ranges report minimal bearing wear past 150,000 miles. Riders make the expensive mistake of buying the cheapest gasoline available, believing all fuel is basically identical. This slowly destroys fuel injection systems and valve health. Budget fuel from discount stations lacks detergent additives that keep injectors and intake valves clean of carbon deposits. Ethanol-blended fuels attract atmospheric moisture, causing extensive corrosion across fuel systems, including injectors, pumps, and metal lines. Ethanol also degrades rubber components, causing dangerous fuel leaks. Storing motorcycles with untreated fuel allows varnish to form inside injectors during winter storage. The correct approach involves purchasing fuel from high-volume stations where fresh fuel turns over rapidly. Use top-tier brands with detergent additives, and choose ethanol-free fuel when available. Add fuel stabilizer for storage exceeding 30 days. Modern riders skip warm-up procedures believing fuel injection eliminates this need, but this misconception causes severe engine damage. Cold engines lack proper oil pressure because thick oil does not flow efficiently. Metal components are contracted beyond normal operating clearances. Starting cold and immediately riding aggressively causes metal-to-metal contact that damages bearings, cylinder walls, and valve train components. The correct warm-up requires idling 60 to 90 seconds before riding, allowing oil circulation throughout the engine. Never rev cold engines or accelerate hard until the temperature gauge shows a normal operating temperature. Equally damaging is shutting down immediately after aggressive riding. Hot engines need a cool-down period to prevent bearing damage and oil coking. Idle 30 to 60 seconds after hard riding before shutdown, allowing temperatures to stabilize. A surprisingly common mistake is attempting to clean disposable paper air filters with compressed air instead of replacing them. Riders believe this saves money, but it destroys engines. Paper filter media contains microscopic fibers that trap contaminants. Using compressed air damages those fibers, creating holes that allow dirt to bypass the filter and enter combustion chambers. Dirt acts as an abrasive, accelerating cylinder wall wear, scoring piston rings, and permanently damaging valve seats. Another error is running clogged filters for too long. Restricted airflow reduces power and forces richer fuel mixtures, which wash protective oil from cylinder walls. The correct practice requires replacing disposable paper filters every 12,000 miles or once a year. Riders in dusty environments should inspect filters every 6,000 miles. A $50 air filter protects thousands of dollars in internal components. Never compromise air filtration. Riders consistently check chain tension incorrectly by measuring on the side stand with the bike's weight compressing the suspension, which gives completely false readings. Correct tension checking requires the bike on a rear stand with the suspension fully unloaded, showing true chain slack. Another error is believing tighter chains are better. Excessive tension loads the transmission output bearings and the countershaft bearings, causing premature failure and sometimes requiring engine case splitting. Conversely, excessive slack causes chain slap against the swing arm and potential derailment. Over-lubricating chains attract dirt, which acts as a grinding compound and dramatically accelerates wear. The correct approach involves checking tension every 500 miles, adjusting to manufacturer specifications, and allowing approximately 1 inch of vertical movement at the midpoint. Clean chains every 300 to 600 miles using quality chain cleaner, then apply moderate chain lube while the chain is warm. Riders dangerously check tire pressure monthly, or only when tires visibly appear low. Proper practice requires weekly checks when the tires are completely cold. Many riders think tire pressure only affects handling and safety. In reality, Incorrect pressure forces engines to work significantly harder. Underinflated tires dramatically increase rolling resistance, requiring substantially more engine power to hold the same speed. This accelerates wear on clutches, transmissions, and engine internals while reducing fuel economy 10 to 15%. Overinflation reduces the contact patch, decreases traction, and causes premature center wear. Another common error is checking pressure when the tires are hot after riding. Heat raises pressure by several pounds per square inch, which gives false readings. The correct practice is to check pressure weekly when the tires are cold, using an accurate gauge. Sport bikes typically require 32 to 36 pounds per square inch, depending on load and riding style. Most riders never inspect spark plugs until misfires occur, missing critical diagnostic information that reveals developing engine problems. The misconception is that spark plugs either work perfectly or fail completely, and that they only need replacement when problems manifest. Spark plugs provide invaluable information about combustion quality, the air-fuel mixture, and issues like oil consumption or overheating. Remove and inspect plugs every 8,000 miles. Examine electrode wear, insulator color, and gap specifications carefully. Brown or tan deposits indicate proper combustion. Black sooty deposits suggest a rich mixture or oil consumption that requires investigation. White crusty deposits indicate lean conditions or overheating. Another common error is not regapping new plugs before installation, assuming factory gaps are correct. Use original equipment manufacturer specified plugs, or premium NGK or Denso replacements designed specifically for your engine. Always check and set the plug gap to the specification for your model before you install new plugs. A costly mistake is assuming all motorcycles share engine and transmission oil when certain models require separate transmission oil and independent service intervals. Riders who follow only engine oil changes often neglect transmission oil entirely, which leads to accelerated gearbox wear and eventual failure. Even on models that share fluids, riders underestimate how critical fresh oil is for transmission longevity. Worn oil loses its film strength, allowing metal-to-metal contact between gears and bearings, and that causes permanent damage. Another critical error is using automotive gear oil with friction modifiers designed for differentials, but incompatible with wet clutches. That causes clutch slippage and expensive replacement. The correct practice is to change transmission oil every 12,000 miles, using manufacturer-specified grades exclusively. Only use motorcycle-specific transmission oil that is formulated for wet clutch compatibility. Inspect magnetic drain plugs during each change for metal particles. The most dangerous misconception is believing brake fluid lasts indefinitely unless visible leaks occur. This causes catastrophic brake failures when you need them most. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. It naturally absorbs atmospheric moisture through microscopic pores in rubber lines and reservoir seals over time. Absorbed water contaminates the fluid, reducing the boiling point from over 400 degrees to under 300 degrees. During hard braking, contaminated fluid can boil, creating vapor bubbles that compress instead of transferring hydraulic pressure, and that can cause complete brake failure. Moisture also causes severe internal corrosion of aluminum calipers and brake lines, which can require expensive replacement. Another error is mixing different DOT ratings or brands, which can cause chemical reactions that damage seals. The correct practice is to flush and replace brake fluid in both systems every 2 years, regardless of mileage. These 13 mistakes separate reliable motorcycles from expensive repair projects. Every error causes preventable damage, costing thousands in repairs. Correct these misconceptions today, follow proper maintenance practices, and your bike will deliver 200,000 miles of bulletproof reliability without catastrophic failures or breaking the bank on repairs.